So, first YouTube video, can you believe it? I actually decided to shoot this like in my bedroom because what better place to start shooting? Today we're going to talk about creating a custom unit. All right, so I got a few things off of Amazon. First things first was this wig cap that I got. Now, I really enjoy the wig caps that are fully mesh with the adjustable straps. This one came with some awesome gifts. So I got some straight needles and I also got some C-curves. C-curves are my personal favorites. We also got some slide clips. And then also I absolutely love using pearl pins. Why did it come out like this? I absolutely love using pearl pins. I guess I can't even use an accent right. But anyway, we also have our wig block, and I got it in a size 20 because this client in particular has a really small head. When I do my own wigs, I like to do them on like a 21 inch personally, and then I'll just stitch a little tighter, but her head is super small. This one also came with some great gifts. We got a wig cap. We also got a portable mount for your wig form. Then we got some awesome clips, which I put right in my kit because my hairstyle is by day. Last but not least, we got a really nice thing of some more needles and some T-pins. And I dropped it. It's neither here nor there. But yeah, so this is the reason why I like to use the pearl pins, because they did give us T-pins, but you see how thick that is? I always worry about pushing that through the lace and also pushing that through elastic. And they gave us some more C needles. I think I got like 12 free C needles. The hair that we'll be using is Nahara's curls. I absolutely love their hair. The texture is absolutely amazing, and the packaging comes in amazing. They really give you the full experience. Like, take a look at this. Hold on. It's so nice. Okay, let me let myself pull these on out of here. But this client got a 20, an 18, and a 16. The reason why we got these lengths is because she wanted more of a mushroom shape. She wanted a lot of volume and length at the top, but she didn't want it to be too long. That way she could have way more volume, kind of like that heart-shaped mushroom kind of curly girl. Now, the closure was absolutely divine. I loved it so much. Now, we'll go ahead and tell you guys it's a little disappointing. You won't get to see the end results. The reason why is because this client is super discreet. Nobody actually knows that she's wearing extensions when she wears my units. It looks so much like her hair, and as much as I wish I could show y'all, she won't let me. But it's cool though, because all we're learning today is how to construct the wig. Can you get into those curls with me? Okay. All right, so here we're going to talk about threading the needle. When I am doing a unit, I thread about 12 to 13 needles all at once, and then I'll stick them in my wig block so they'll be ready to go. And I pretty much make them about a yard's length. So I will put one to my chin and I'll outstretch. Actually, I'll go a little further. I think I go to my shoulder. So it goes all the way out to the amount of my wingspan, and then fold over, make a small knot right there, and do that 12 times. I would suggest going in and clipping those ends, just to be sure that we have a lot of consistency. We don't have little strings poking up. So usually I would use a mesh cap that has the adjustable drawstring, but this client in particular, she asked me to use a mesh wig cap. I love these because that elastic band really does give you great tension. So I don't mind using either wig cap. It doesn't really matter. So for the purposes of this one, we'll be using a mesh dome cap. I like to take it and line up those two lines where it's right there in the center. That way we can kind of keep up and figure out where those ear lines are. So when we're placing our closure, you see the little white tab there? You want it just a hair in front of the elastic part of your dome cap. The reason why you want that is just because it gives you a little bit more to cut And I feel like it leaves a little bit more structure there. If I just went and I just had the thin lace on there, then I feel like it ends up being too much tension on the lace for your closure. And we really want to be careful of that. We don't want to have too much tension. So I'm just going through, just going through and placing the pearl pins all around to give even tension for the closure. Now, when you are doing this part, you're never going to get it fully flat. You'll see how to change that when I show you how to stitch. Let's talk back stitching. Back stitching is a wonderful addition to your wigs. The reason why is because we get that good bit of structure and a lot of stability for our sewing. So we're going to start here. We're going to work towards the end of the cap and then work our way back. That just makes sure that we put as much stability right there where we have that elastic band so it can hold on with great tension. Another tip, do not go through the elastic. If you pay attention, I'm going right through the mesh and I'm going, a little ways down from the cap, and that is to give and provide tension on both sides. So now that we're closer, you see that I'm going to go in, but I don't go all the way to the tip. One thing that I didn't get recorded that I'm kind of upset about, at the end of creating this unit, when you cut out the area where the closure is, you do a stitch on the inside, and that's how we get that last little bit laid down, because you'll have the opportunity to have that open. Now I'm just going to keep on going around. The one thing you'll always hear me say is please be sure to have all of your stitching be an equal amount away for even tension. All of these small building blocks will do nothing but make sure that you have the same tension all around and also give the unit way more longevity. If you have stitches that are an inch apart and then you have some that are half an inch apart, it's going to cause buckling and all of that. So let's keep our stitching nice and neat. You don't want to be on top of each other, but tighter is always better. That's what he said. I'm gonna let that one pass. So if you're noticing here, you do see buckling, but that's only because that's the two corners of the back of the closure. They don't necessarily lay very well. This is the reason why I do two separate needles on each side. So as you can see, the end of one, and we're coming around to the end with our other side, and it's laying flat like you didn't see a buckle there at all. So we're gonna cut. Go ahead and knot the end of that because it's still long. Take off that tip. And then let's do a double knot and cut close. Double knot and cut close. And we've got our closure. Look at there. So next, we are going to take the 16-inch because remember she wanted to start with the smaller inches at the bottom so she could have that nice voluminous mushroom shape. So we're going to start with our 16-inch at the bottom, and we are going to go around the entire perimeter with this piece of weft. What this is going to do is also give you a little bit more structure. I guess that's going to be our word for this video is structure. But the one thing you want to have is hair falling forward towards the face. So this will be sure that we have everything falling towards the face. And our other vocabulary word for this video was what? Backstitching. Yes. Okay. So we are going to do that again as we make our way around the perimeter of this unit. All right, and here we go. So through the weft, and I'm going to do a loop stitch or a lock stitch based on who you talk to. It's just where you take the thread through. Excuse me, you take the needle through the thread. Yeah, you take the needle through the thread, and then we're going to get that nice and taut. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through the mesh. Remember, we do not go through the elastic. We're going to go through the mesh, because if we go through the elastic, that's putting holes in it, and that's the exact antithesis of what we're going for. We want to maintain, we want to maintain all of the elasticity that we can for as long as we can, because no matter what we do, this elastic band is going to give out on us after a while. But why will we help it in the beginning, right? So we have a stitch that's about a finger's width apart from the beginning, and then I'm going to go through the weft again and through the mesh. You see how careful I'm being there, making sure that I do not go through that elastic. And even here, paying attention to our stitching, right? And keeping it taut. That's one thing that I do. You'll probably notice I always keep tension with my left hand as I sew with my right. That way we can always make sure that that thread stays nice and taut throughout our entire time. It also gives you a bit more control, because if you've been stitching for a while, you know how frustrating it can be when the thread decides it wants to ravel around itself, create some random knot all of a sudden. And I mean, ain't nobody got time for that, right? So we're going to keep that tension with our left as we stitch through the mesh with our right. And we're going to keep those stitches the same width apart with the same amount of tension. Our purl pins are also a really great tool to make sure that we utilize while we do this. As we go through this process, we don't have to hold on to the weft. We can use those purl pins to be able to be sure that we don't even have to worry about tension when it comes to the weft. You want most of the tension to be in the thread. You don't want to lay the weft down super tight, because if you do that, then that's going to create this weird buckle that you kind of can't undo. So yeah. Look at my stitching. So pretty. Now, right about here, we've finished our perimeter stitch. We've finished putting our weft around our perimeter. So we're going to start making more horizontal type of stitches here, because now we're going to start building volume. Okay? Now, everything kind of keeps a little bit of an upturn, just to be sure that it'll lay flush with the weft that's above it. But for the most part, we're going to be going left, right, until we get a little higher. And right here, if you notice, we are still at the band area. So please keep being sure that you do not go through the elastic. And if you notice, I do my stitches a little bit tighter here, a little bit more close together, because this is going to be an area that gets moved a lot, touched a lot, because it's right there in the nape of the neck. And so I like to be sure that that spot right there has all of the stitching that it needs, so it can feel have a little bit more rigidity to it, you know, so it'll feel like it can kind of take a beating a little bit. And now we're going to double back. I feel like I should have gotten a little bit closer on that. I think I give you guys more Dang, why can't I think of this A? More view of how to do that as we get later on in here, because there are going to be some moments where you just get to watch me stitch. Just so you can see what the structure looks like. So like I said, we're going left and right still, and we're going to continue doing that until we get right under the crest line of the hair. Because I'm still putting a little bit of a C curve to it, but it's still more just straight back and forth. So that's how we're going to build the volume. And for those who don't know what the crest line is, it is the widest part of your hair. It is right there from your temple to the top of your ear, and it goes all the way around. And so we're going to keep on doing it this way until we get about here. See? You can kind of notice still that I was doing just a bit. I said we were going back and forth with just a little bit of that C shape. You can kind of see how it has this angling towards the face, right? So that's what we're going to want to do, because if we do that, we can build the volume, but it won't just be overbearing because most of it is coming towards the face. If you just go straight horizontal, then the hair is going to go straight down, and that's not what we want. We want to have something to cut around the face. Now, the one thing I can say about Nahara's curls is this hair is thick and luscious, but my client loves her hair high as Texas, okay? So right here, I'm actually putting the wefts in double because she wants to fit all three of these bundles, and it's so much hair that I want it to look great, but oh my gosh, when I finish, sometimes I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so huge. But I have to remember it's gonna calm down when it gets wet. But okay, so right here we're doing the flip over. Now when I do the flip over with the double weft, I only flip over the weft that is in the back, if that makes sense. And then I'll fold it over. And when the other weft naturally begins from where I stopped sewing, then I'll go ahead and start sewing both of them together. I don't even know if that makes sense. And yet another back stitch. Maybe I might have to do another video on that. What do you guys think? I might do a video on just how to do the flip over part, because it is very tedious, maybe. All right, so now we've done the double weft all the way up to the top of the temple line is pretty much where we are, because we're rounding, getting really close to that closure. So now we're gonna go straight across again and start filling that up. As you keep going straight across, it'll fill itself up. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about, but this is another way to go ahead and build that volume in the back of the wig really nicely. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I'm doubling up yet again. Ooh, y'all, why was I moving so fast? I guess I was done, huh? Still maintaining that stitch difference. Love y'all. I don't know what that was. I think I was really getting delirious by this point. Because I will say, it usually takes me about maybe about 2 hours to do an entire wig, 2.5 if I'm really not, doing it. Or if I don't have my needles threaded, that's another thing that'll make it take a long time. But trying to do this and record and think about all the parts and the pieces, y'all, it took me like 2 days to make this wig. It was crazy. There we go. You guys can kind of see right there how I do the flip over. I create that little bit of space right there. Then we're going to pin it down. And if you were looking at the time, you'll see that I just allowed that other piece to fold over in its natural spot. And I pushed this one over to where I needed it to be. Alright, you guys, so I went ahead and sped on through to the end here in just a second, just so you guys can kind of see what it starts to look like when you are closing up. You want to still maintain that really good stitching around there. I try to go in between the stitches that I've already done from when we initially put our closure on. And like I said, after that, you're going to cut around on the inside where that closure was, and then you want to stitch the closure to the wig cap underneath. There we go. She is complete. Look how big she is. Like, it's crazy. I actually went in and colored this one, and I recorded that color process, so hopefully I'll come back with it. Thank you guys for sticking with me throughout this whole YouTube video. I'm absolutely excited to start sharing so much more. Look at that mushroom shape before we even cut it. And like and comment, subscribe, all those things that people say you need to do, if you like it. Ooh, was that a little piece of what I did for the color? Maybe. Okay. The video's gone. Bye, you guys.